Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Yu-Peng Chen reaction. Today we have Circle Dance of the Evernight Castle. I'm going to be listening to this song with the music video. I usually wouldn't care as much, but it's like, you know what? I love seeing the Philharmonic do their thing, and just watching that experience adds to it in a way, but it shouldn't be enough to distract me and my ADHD to go wild, so I figured why not just watch the video. But apparently this is one of the pinnacle songs of this album, as was made apparent to me by this comment from Majo, as well as all of the likes on it, so clearly people agree that this is definitely one to get to, and without further ado, let's go! Turning it up a little bit, but I have a feeling that it's... Yep, gonna get bigger. Oh, man. I love it when you can hear the pedal in a piano, like the recording of the piano. It's such an underrated texture that not a lot of people probably think about, but it always catches my ear. Oh, man. I know this is like 6 minutes long, and I'm just gonna be vibing the whole time. Oh, gorgeous chord. Yu-Peng writing music, waltz specifically, is always so magical. I don't know how he manages to find this perfect blend of whimsy and beauty. It's just absolutely insane. Like it's a small thing, but the breathing in that soloist there for the violin. These little textures that are just lost when you program stuff. But it adds so much to the performance, you feel it that much more. God. Whew. There's the dance on those strings there. Whew. And I absolutely adore that Yu-Peng is giving proper respect on the name of the accordion. Too many people clown on accordions. They're such beautiful instruments. I blame polka. I love polka, but I think too many people associate accordion with polka, and they forget that it can be used in a very musical way, with just as much emotion as any other instrument out there. shift. Ooh. Okay, things got more serious in the overall tone. There's some presence now. Yu-Peng doing his thing and telling a story. Oh, man, just letting that hang. Ooh. Sorry, I kind of lagged on one of those. Like, it was intentional, but kind of caught me off guard on the count. Again, musicality. Oh. Yeah, go ahead, tickle the ivories, it's fine. They can take it. I loved that little scale he threw in there near the end. Dude, Yu-Peng, again, absolutely gorgeous. I would kill to see like a performance of this whole album live somewhere. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but you can bet if it's nearby, I'll be watching it. So again, to kind of retread my general thoughts of this song, the beauty of the way that Yu-Peng writes, the storytelling in this. I was following this story all the way through. It was so well paced. It felt like I watched an entire episode of a TV show. It was that well paced. And all within like 6.5 minutes. It felt like I was watching an entire sequence happen, an entire scene in my head. And I don't really have that. I have aphantasia, so I can't like actually visualize stuff, but I can feel the intent, the character, the changing like mood in every section, what it's trying to get you to feel, the pressure, the release, all of that is just flowing through so effortlessly. And the way that Yu-Peng writes is so accustomed to that. He's so used to writing things with a story. And that's something that classical music almost exclusively is able to manage to do without lyrics, without that general tone of like, here, let's tell you the story and just be obvious about it, which is a perfectly fine thing. I'm not trying to say there's a supremacy in not having lyrics tell you a story, but it definitely adds a different level of that like mental space you have to open and be aware of. You have to be able to comprehend the story in a song. And there's a whole comprehension thing that I do when I'm listening to music myself, a whole process that I go through, that I'm able to break down the stories much more efficiently for myself, even when the song itself is like extremely hyper specific to one character. I'm able to figure out their life story off of that a lot of the time because I'm listening actively at those changes and I'm able to break those down and then read into them and see what actually is happening here. It's the same reason why ballet, the way it is written the way it is. It's a flow. You have to be able to tell the story in just dance. And while sure, of course, in ballet, that dance helps give us the visual context of what's happening, the point is you can still hear all of that story without the visual at all. You can hear the Nutcracker without seeing the Nutcracker. Even if you've never seen the Nutcracker happen physically in your life, you know exactly what's being told. At very least, the basic idea of who the characters are, what's happening at certain points of that music, and going through it all. And that's why I love classical. It's an entirely separate beast from other genres of music out there. It holds its own in its own unique way, just like every other genre. And the composer being able to write a song that's able to tell a story effectively and clearly without having those other factors of a lyric to make it that much more obvious and just straightforward is a skill that I wish I had. I mean, to be fair, the title of Circle Dance in the Evernight Castle is pretty obvious. It's kind of an obtuse title, like circle dance. That's a waltz. It's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and usually during a waltz you kind of go into a circle format. It's just the way that the dance goes. That 1 2 3 pattern dancing brings you into a circle naturally because it's kind of a triangle shape with how you move through the space, and it creates a circle all around you, and it's just the way that that song flows. So the song title being circle dance is again pretty obvious, but then you have the Evernight Castle thing, which is just playing into that Fantasyland, the world he's creating, and the fact that you can listen to these songs. I've only heard 2 of them so far, but I can feel the world he's creating by just listening to this, and every space in this world has its own sound, its own character, its own aesthetic so far. It's going for its own thing, kind of similar to his Genshin work, how every region of that game had a very specific tone and a very specific inspiration musically for every sound that every area had. So this isn't really anything new to Yu-Peng Chen. I think he is still kind of borrowing from that general experience he got on Genshin, but he's able to make the world he wants, and that's truly, I think, his goal here. He wants to do that, and I'm sure he's talked about it already before, because I know he's done some like prerequisite stuff before the release of this, probably done some interviews afterwards, just explaining that that's probably what his goal was to make a world of his own and be able to make the sound he wanted for each parts of those. It's just that his general experience so far in the music world has been that already, so he kind of knows what to go for when he's looking to make certain sounds for certain character feel that he wants to create. The Evernight Castle, in this case, of course, the waltz, the ballroom feel. You want to keep that dance going. It's something big, it's grandiose. When all that energy came in the latter half, I was like, okay, so either the king showed up or it was like the big bad and they had to like move through the story there. It could go either way. It's of course pretty subjective. There are different ways to hear every song, but I was kind of getting it like there's this big oppressive presence. It wasn't like a big grand like, oh, we're happy he's here sort of sound. It was still in that D minor key that the rest of the song was in. It didn't shift, it didn't go to the parallel, it just stuck there. So I was like, okay, so there's some oppressive force showing up to just kind of take control of the ballroom, if not literally, like there's probably some story here where there was just a fine fantastical ball happening, and then all of a sudden, boom, big bad shows up and he wants to ruin all the fun, but the dancers didn't let him. Like this party continued on. There was a little bit of backlash, but it ended up resolving in a beautiful finale, and it was just the story there. Again, the story. He's so good at telling these stories, and I love it so much. Yu-Peng Chen, once again, knocking it out of the park. I'm even more interested now knowing that this song is so unique to the other one, and that's his goal, is to make every area and every song kind of its own feel, most likely. I can't wait to hear more from this album, so I'll definitely be getting to at least one more of these, but if you have any specific ones, leave them down in the comments below so I can get to the best ones first, because man, I want to hear the best of the best out of this album for sure. But I think that'll be about all I got to say for this one. I've been praising Yu-Peng Chen plenty. It's probably starting to get a little weird if I've been praising him a little too much, but like when you see something good, when you hear something beautiful, you have to let the composer know how you feel about that, and this is amazing, and I can't wait to hear more. So again, if there's any specific songs, leave them down below so I can know exactly which ones to get to. And of course, if you like this video and you want to see more of those in the future, you know how to follow me and support me and all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!